Okay, good morning. We're holding now in the Maimer, Va'inyan Bazet. It's the middle of Eis Ches. So in the pamphlets it's page Chof Ches, and in the Varmachos it's on page Lamed Beis. So the Rebbe says like this: Va'inyan Bazet. This concept, as we said, that the Erin Seif is Enim Arv Bahen. So he says Va'inyan Bazet Vishem Var Admar Marav Shav. It's like the Rebbe Rashab in Tofrei Shamachvov explains the difference between light and koyach of strength. What's the difference? Even the highest faculty that a person has, I put it over here, a person has is inyan haseichel, which is the intellect. The first faculty of the Hizgalos HaKeichas HaNefesh, this is from the Etzem HaNefesh, is the Koyach HaSeichel. Eine ba'ifin shel pashut. So it's not like example of or pashut, which is not limited at all in any tzir. Elahu ba'ifin shel koyach. It's in a way of koyach shenyani hu sheshayich boi shini v'espilus, that it could have some change. So the Rebbe Shab is explaining the difference between Eir and Keyach. The highest intellect of a person, the highest faculty of a person is intellect. So it's not like Eir Pashut, but Keyach could have Shini and Espilus. That's why in Seichel you have many different levels. You have the inner intellect.
Why do you say it could make it? It could make a shinoi, and not a.
So he explains. You have in the Seichel, you have different levels. You have the Seichel Pnimi, you have the Seichel Chitzeni, Seichel Emig, Seichel Shitchi. You have a deep Seichel, you have a superficial Seichel. And this concept in Seichel, it's not only in the difference between the refinement of the person who has this Seichel. Like a person who has more of a refined head, so he can understand things deeper. And if not, another cup is either the guy's cup is verstopped or himself he's not able to grasp because it's not refined. So he's only able to grasp the seichel chitzeni or seichel shitchi. If it was only mitzad, the refinement of the meach, so it's not shaykh that a person first will be masik the seichel pnimi, which is a very deep seichel, and then seichel chitzeni, and then an outer seichel. If it is dependent just on the kli hameach, hasederhu shebechol adam over yisrim kli hameach hamaskal. So the more a person exercises his brains, so the kal b'yisr, you should be able to go and receive more. So based on that, you were never able to have an opposite seder. First to get the seichel pnimi, then chitzeni. Now, don't say that the reason why he first is masik seichel pnimi then chitzeni he lefisha ata koi b'hai mesechta. As we know, he's involved in this tractate. Okay, he has more of a head for that stuff. Why? We find you find in the actual seichel itself. First, the person can go ahead and first understand the details of the pnimius of the seichel. And then he understands the pratim of the pratim chitzenim. So what's the Rebbe trying to bring out? What's the Rebbe trying to bring out from here? If so, So therefore it comes out that the change in the seichel has nothing to do with the refinement of the kli hamayach. Why? Because if it does, then it's not shaykh to first get the pnimius and the chitzonis. Rather, it's not only in the kli, in the actual receptacle, but it's in the actual keach, the seichel itself. That's why that the nefesh can understand is that's why it's called the power of intellect and not the light of intellect. Why? Because the koyach haseichel has change. Right. But I think the main point is that he's trying to bring out the difference between and koyach. Koyach can have change, and not only mitzad the kli, but mitzad the seichel itself, because it's koyach. However, the light, there's a difference between the light of a sun, light of the moon, and light of a torch. Many different madrigas. This is not like the difference between seichel pnimi and seichel tzeni. Because the shina is not in the light itself. Because the light is shaykh to the mar, which is the light, which is the sun. Whereas the shaykh amar hakotan zu alavena, and this light is shaykh also to the moon. Whereas the shaykh l'ner lavuka, ubeglal zeh chilukim heim mishtanim zeh mizeh. Now, since there's light, but it's not a difference in the actual goof, actual difference of light. The saying is that even though mitzad there's a difference. You have of shemesh, you have levana, you have of avukam. So yes, there's a shini there, but it's not mitzad the itself. Meaning it doesn't actually change the again, the Rebbe Shab continues in the Maimer. Shmalamata ein meir hashemesh meir kol kach k'mei l'mayla harzel lefish hashemesh hu gam ki nivra ubal guf. Now, the Rebbe Shab explains that one of the differences between the Eir and Keach is that that lamata down over here, the light of the sun doesn't shine as much as over there, because the shemesh is also a creation and a bal guf, and it has limitations in the spashtus. It's a bal gvul. Aval kan, but when it comes to the Eir Elikim, meduber edis Eir shu ein seif be'etzem, we're talking about ein seif be'etzem, and therefore gam kasher nimshach lamata mata hariu be'ifin ein tachas, even when it comes down over here, she'ein mis'arav ein mispol v'ein mishtan. So what the Rebbe is trying to bring out in the last part is, we're explaining the whole time, going by Riches, that the Eir seif that comes down the mata in tachlis goes down even to the lowest madrigas, and it does not change or have an effect whatsoever on the Ein Seif. Why? So the Rebbe Rashab said, so the Rebbe explained Barichas what that means. It's not like the neshama and the goof, that the neshama is nispol from the goof and has an effect. And then today what we're explaining is from the Rebbe Rashab, the difference between Or and Koyach is that you see that the first part of a person's his galus, the faculty, is the Koyach HaSeichel. So in the Seichel you have many different madrigas. Seichel is like keach. So you have the seichel pnimi, seichel chitzeni, and the Rebbe Rashab is saying it's not only because the kli that a person has a better head or he has a better kli, so he understands better. Because so then there would be, you have to first have a seder that first you are able to understand, or one should be able to only get first seichel chitzeni, then seichel pnimi. But we see that sometimes a person can get the pnimistic of the seichel and then work on the chitzenis. So we see it's not so much mitzad the kli, it's mitzad also mitzad the seichel, mitzad the keach. Mashenkin in the he's saying is that doesn't change, and it's like you have even though there's a difference between the shemesh, the levana, and the avuka, there's different types of lights. It's not like the difference between seichel pnimi and seichel chitzeni, because the shina over here is not in the itself.
So koyach is connected to the person, connected to the matter. Or is more edler and it just even happen.
Yeah, but the point is that even though there's a difference that we're explaining the difference in and koyach and neshama and guf, nevertheless, even in shemesh, even in which the is mein amor, and it should not change the nevertheless, it's still like the Rebbe Rashab says in Nivru Bal Guf. Mashenki in this in safe, that doesn't change at all.
The muscle of the Rebbe Rashab, the koyach in the zach, is that Hashachas zum Nivru. Even though the person that's the most edel thing. I mean,
He doesn't say that.
I'm trying to catch it. This is koyach and that you have to see in general. Koyach and oil is a higher medai
Right.
Koyach has more shaykhs.
Right, and also koyach, because of koyach could change. It could be a shinei.
That's why it has a shaykhs.
You're right, because it could be. I didn't see that.
You have to get the basic difference.
Okay, Tess. We're spending a long time on this matter. We have to finish. Okay, the Siyam HaPerek. So he concludes in Perek Yudalid in the Maamar Basi Ligani. The Frierdiker Rebbe says, "V'zeu lemata mata adin tachlis," and this is what it means that the Eidin Seif goes lemata mata adin tachlis. Shehu, this Eidin Seif shines b'ispashus ubegilei ad gam b'madregas hayesir shvalim b'tachlis. It goes down into the lower. It reveals itself even to the lowest madregas. Uboprokim shel akar izem mesayim b'yir ha'inyin the Eidin Seif l'mayla adin kates. Now, then the Rabbi Rashab afterwards is Messiah, the explanation of the Frierdiker Rebbe explains the beer of Erin Seif L'mayla Adin Kates. Shegam Sham, even in the highest madregas, u'ba'ifin kazeh. It's in this level. Shebachol Mokim shenimtzar u'ba'ifin to ein Kates. Then in every place that the Erin Seif, it's in a way of unlimited. There's no limitations. However, these two things of L'mayla Adin Kates L'mata Adin Tachlis, this diuk, as we explained, Barichus, the difference of L'mayla Adin Kates L'mata Adin Tachlis, Nikroim b'shem they're called they're called light. Why? Shenyani, what's light? What's these things? Shenyani Gili. It's the idea of revelation. Even though Orin Seif L'mayla Adin Kates L'mata Adin Tachlis is higher than any creations, Shalachin. And that's why when they come down over here, it does not get affected, doesn't get intertwined. Like we explained, nevertheless, this is not the idea of this Eitzer, which is concealed. And the idea of Eitzer, as we said, the Eitzer that the Melech gives is Sasum, and it's not revealed at all. Now, so he says like this: "V'hine Eitzer zeh, this Eitzer of Yerushalayim,
even higher than
which is higher than Gilei." So what are you saying? L'mayla adin kates l'mata adin tachlis. So the Rebbe is saying that even though they're very high madregas, it's higher than Nivron. Nevertheless, their idea is they're still called Eir. And why? Because at the end of the day, what does Eir mean? Eir means revelation. It means that you're there's a Gilei. Now, nevertheless, the Rebbe says. This is not the idea of Eitzer, or the Frierdiker Rebbe says this is not the idea of Eitzer, which is Inyan Sasum, but Inyan Shel Gili Klal. It says like this: "V'hine Eitzer zeh, this Eitzer of Yerushalayim, which is hidden, which is higher than any revelation. Neistam Yehudi is given to Yidden. Since every Yid is in the army of Hashem, they should yedach l'machama be'elam to go and fight the machama in the world. Hachel ha'machama im ha'el." Zar asher b'kir b'chazei Yitzhahara. First to fight, start with the Yitzhahara. V'oifen da'netzach zu b'nin Yerushalayim k'disa b'gemara. Right, the Gemara over there says l'chashem hagdula. So the Gemara says that's kriyas yamsov. V'hagvura is makas b'cheres. Tiferes is matan teira. And then the Gemara says netzach is Yerushalayim and hoid is Beis Hamikdash. So v'oifen da'netzach. So the Gemara says that netzach refers to Yerushalayim. Hainu livnes is Yerushalayim shabai. Is to build Yerushalayim in every single person. What's Yerushalayim is Yireh Shalom. Is comprised of Yireh Shalom, complete Yireh. Right? As we know, the Medrash says, what does Yireh Shalom mean? Avram called it Yireh. Like it says, Vayikra Avram, Shem HaMokim Ahu Hashem Yireh. And Shem, right, called it Shalom. Malki Tzedek Melech Shalom. So the Eibishter says, so if I'm going to call it Yida, like Avram Vrim said, so Shem won't be happy. And if I'm going to call it Shalom, Avram won't be happy. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to call it Yerushalayim. Yerushalayim, complete Shalom. So he says, V'inyin zeh nasa yidei avidasi. How does... So what, the Eitzer that every Yid is given an Eitzer to fight the Mechama, first to fight the Yetzer Hara, and that's like Yerushalayim, complete Yida. V'inyin zeh nasa yidei avidasi ba'ifin shal Mesiras Nefesh. How does a person, how is this Aveda is in a way of Mesiras Nefesh? Shalamayla afilu mikeach haseichel b'darga achiel yenes shebeseichel. This idea is done through the Aveda of a Yid in a way of Mesiras Nefesh. Shalamayla afilu mikeach haseichel b'darga achiel yenes shebeseichel, which is higher than even the highest level of seichel. This is the idea of the Yerushalayim that every single Yid has. Since every Yid is a chelik likami mal, chinas hayechida, which is the yechida shebenefesh. Al shem shemekabelas miyachid yechida shel elam. Why? Because every Yid receives from the level of yachid from Hashem. When a Yid takes this Eitzer that the Eibishter gives him, and he's using it for his avodah Mesiras Nefesh, as a menatzech b'machama, then he's victorious in the war of Azapel, then he's being pale that we mevazvez the Eitzus Shalamayla. V'neislam loy kol hein yakar, we give him all the riches. Shunai liyesa afilim in seif Shalamayla adin kate Shalamata adin tachlis. You're giving him a higher madrega, even than the higher of Erin Seif. So that's a chiddush over here. The Rebbe got into the whole beer of the Mailad and Kate Lamata Adin Tachlis, and which is such a high gilui, which is higher than any giluim out there. It's not limited, and it doesn't have an effect. And you should know, every Yid by Golos is given an Eitzer which is even higher than Erin Seif. And if you utilize that, and that's given to utilize to fight the Yetzer Hara and to fight the war, and through Mesiras Nefesh. V'zeh gam klolos in the Isav Medrash Mashal Melech Shenichnas b'Medina v'Hayu Imay. This is what the Medrash says. It's a mashal of a melech that comes into a country, and he had him dukosin v'parkisin, which means very high officers on a very high level. Chad Amar anon nosiv dukosin legabe. So one person said, "I'm going to take the one said, I'm going to take the high minister. And one said, I'm going to take this other officer, the other high officer. There was one person said, I want to be friendly. I want to be acquaintances with the king's minister. I want the king himself. Yeah. Like the Alter Rebbe said, when he was Dovik to the Eibishter, Mili Bashamayim, Imcha Lechafasti Ba'aretz, Zeh, ich will nicht sein Gan Eden, Atachten, ich will nicht dein Gan Eden Elyon. He says, I don't want Gan Eden Atachten, I don't want Gan Eden Elyon, ich will mehr nicht, as dich allein, I want the Eibishter himself. Mishamar Tzemach Sedek, when he sparks him Gam B'tfus. V'yin zeh nidish m'kolecha v'echad, shia toiv l'malka. This is demanded by every single person that he should desire the king. Hainu sheyirtza ha'atzmos b'levad, he should want the atzmos of Hashem. Shalamayla gam me'bchinas de'edin seif, shalamayla adin kates, or lamata adin tachas, which is higher than all these levels that we explained the last 2 weeks. This is pale by a Yid in his Aveda that he's not a spell from the Sheker of the world. Through the Aveda of Mesiras Nefesh, so through the Mesiras Nefesh, in the world, he's able to take the shtus, the kedusha, and mahapich it to kedusha. Shaydei zeh peil in the b'shachanti b'sechem dir lo yisbarach b'tachtenim she'in adir hu sheba nimtza atzmas hamelach meshahu. What does dir mean? That you have the melech alein v'nimtza sham gilei v'in zeh nifal yidei b'shachanti b'sechem b'chseich chol echad v'echad, which could be peil by every single yid. All right, thank you.